You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. We're live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Now, to begin our conversation, which is on the presidential campaign of the Social Democratic Party, let's listen to this background put together by our correspondent, Abdulsalam Jibril.
As the 2023 general elections draw near, the electioneering process has become intense, with campaign rallies being held across the length and breadth of the country by the 18 political parties participating in the polls. The Social Democratic Party, SDP, is one of the several parties fielding candidates for the election and has since flagged off its campaign in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. The party's presidential candidate, Adewale Adebayo, speaking at the campaign flag-off, assured Nigerians that the party will eliminate insecurity and poverty in the country. He maintained that if he emerges as president in 2023, he will put the nation on the path of prosperity as well as giving women more political positions. The party's manifesto also reveals that its cardinal program includes electricity for all, jobs for all, food for all, and the war against corruption as the party's abiding articles of faith. Recently, in an apparent boost to the party, 52 deregistered political parties adopted the presidential candidate of the SDP as their candidate for the 2023 general elections. There have been reports of internal crisis rocking the party, which some of its national leaders recently acknowledged and maintained that it had been resolved after a reconciliatory meeting. What are the issues in the party's presidential campaign manifesto? Have the party really resolved its internal crisis ahead of the general elections next year? Guests on the program will be speaking to these and more shortly.
And thank you, Abdul Salam. And joining us in the studio to discuss the topic, here we have Muhammad Ibrahim Biu. Muhammad Ibrahim Biu is the chief spokesperson at the Bio Presidential Campaign Organization. We thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, Councillor. Okay. Well, we also have here in the studio Ambassador Rufus Ayaniba, the SDP National Publicity Secretary. It's my pleasure to welcome you this morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
All right, we are expecting one of your other colleagues to be with us in the course of this conversation. She's the SDP National Women Speaker. That's what her designation is. Yes. So once she joins, respect some gender balance, at least for today's conversation. But gentlemen, let's start off because when we were beginning this program this morning, my colleague Kieran and I did reference the claim by the SDP that they are the only horse in the presidential race in February next year. What do you mean by that?
Well, our symbol signifies that it's a white horse, and moreover, we are the oldest party, considering all the parties that are in the race for the 2023 election. But most importantly, as our name connotes, Social Democratic Party. Our emphasis is on social justice and good governance. And the only way we can really get these things across to the people is not through any other means but by this symbol of the white horse. And that is why we have our symbol or our logo at the White horse galloping. So
it's interesting,
yes,
to hear that. SDP, as you rightly said, is the oldest party in Nigeria.
Yes.
Right, and I'd like to ask you, whether the party sustained, the tempo that we used to, have over the years. Do you still have that capacity? Have your tentacles are they spread across this nation?
Certainly, we have. From the units, polling units, to the ward, local government, zonal, and state and national level, we have our structure all over the place. Yes, people will say you are not in government or you have not been in government. Agreed. But then the party has been at the grassroots. And this time around, this 2023, we are all out, as you can see. We have a presidential candidate, a very young, intelligent lawyer, an entrepreneur, very brilliant, somebody in his 50s. And when you look at it, people in their 40s and 50s, they do better than those in the 70s and 80s. Anywhere, even those now we are claiming that they had good records. It was when they were young. But at 70, 80, from what we have seen, I just have to use this example. Our president, Muhammad Buhari, when he was in his 40s, he did well. And people thought at 70 or 80, he's going to do the same. But from general assumption or assessment of people, I think he has not done his best as we thought he could do. So,
President Buhari is not on the ballot for next year's general election.
No, I'm just giving you that.
I understand you use it for purposes of illustration.
Yes.
So let's not stretch that. I was just wondering, coming to Rufus Ayenigba, why, again, these are just preliminaries. We'll get into the details later. So warm up. On what basis is the SDP claiming to be the oldest political party in Nigeria? Is it in name only or in reality? Because in November of 1993, when Abuja sacked the then inchoate Third Republic, the two political parties, NRC and SDP, which were, some describe them a little to the left, a little to the right, and government parasitas, were legally disbanded. So, on what basis then? And they then had, later on, during even the Abacha years, 5 political parties that were derisively described by Chief Bola Ige as the 5 fingers of the leprous hand. But the SDP was not one of these 5 fingers. So SDP, so what is the basis then? I'm just saying for purposes of clarification. SDP, you can say, is it in name only or what? And let me just ask this so it doesn't appear as if we are dragging it for too long. It was talking, Bill was talking about the horse. I'm sure you also remember that horse symbol was one of the initial problems with the June 12 election. Because the power brokers at the time claimed that Chief M.K. Abiola, who was a candidate of the SDP, wore to the polling booth an agbada with an embroidery showing the white horse. Yes. And they claimed that he was campaigning on that day, whereas he wasn't supposed to be campaigning. But that's by the way. So tell us, why do you continue to say that you are the oldest party in Nigeria?
Right. To start with, thank you for that question. I will have to correct this. SDP is not the oldest political party in Nigeria. As of today, SDP is the second oldest political party to start with in name and in structure. PRP is the oldest political party in the Nigerian polity. But when you talk about frontline political parties, SDP is a leading political party. But of that order, SDP was created in 1992, yes. But you recall that the name SDP, the logo of SDP, still remain the same as it was 30 years ago. If you check our manifesto and all of that, the ideology, what we stand for remains the same. It's just the era. It is the time we are in that has changed.
SDP resurrected.
SDP, yes, sir. SDP by law was resurrected. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's the right word. But the truth of the matter is that in law,
PRP, yes.
Yes, PRP. In law, SDP remains the same because the INEC registered when the new registration of the party came. The name, it didn't change from SDP. The logo remains the same. So it's still the same SDP. It's just the operators that have changed.
Okay.
Let's get this clear.
Yeah.
Look, INEC had to register you.
Yes.
It was a different INEC under a different law that registered you.
You're right.
And it had to do because that name was available.
Yeah.
If there was a name, another name closely resembling SDP, the INEC might not have registered.
My brother, the truth of the matter is that we are not the truth of as it stands today, SDP was registered by INEC. It has no controversy about that.
Okay.
And it stands in law as the political party with the same ideology, the same logo content, with the SDP that the whole Nigerians adopted in 30 years ago and gave that victory.
Okay. So we can say SDP reloaded. No,
Powerfully.
Powerfully. All right. Ajia Sadatu Abdullahi just joined us. Ajia Sadatu Abdullahi is the SDP National Women Speaker. Ajia, it's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now speak for the women and let's know how SDP, how women play their own role in ensuring that the SDP, gets the presidency next year after election. What are the roles being played by women, and what are all the quality of the political party that will make women prefer to join SDP than other parties that have been in existence over the years?
Well, thank you very much for having me this morning. SDP, let me start by saying generally, everywhere in the world, not only Nigeria, people know that women are the largest voting bloc. And that is why all the political parties are trying to see how can they get women to be part of their campaign team. But SDP did not start just because of campaign. SDP, we have it even in our constitution, and we have surpassed what is written in the constitution as far as gender inclusiveness is concerned. Right now, the National Working Committee of Social Democratic Party, we have 4 women part of the NWC. No party in Nigeria has that. And we do not only have the woman leader or the national speaker, as it is called in SDP. We have the treasurer. We have so many powerful, and all these women that are in SDP are not pushovers. We are substance. So that is how far SDP has gone into ensuring women are given their own rightful place. Inclusiveness. When it comes to campaign, if you have these women come across the country from the north, south, east, and the southwest, what do you expect? We are going to put all in all to ensure that we win this election. We are going to assemble our colleagues, our co-women, to come together to vote for SDP. And coming to the candidates of SDP, Prince Adewale Adebayo, everybody knows that he is a gender-friendly man. And among all the candidates we have now, I will say it, nobody came out openly and made a statement to what he is going to offer women if he becomes president. But Prince Adewale Adebayo says, if I am elected the president of Nigeria, if women, I'm going to appoint women in my cabinet, not because they are women, but because I know women merit whatever they are going to get from my listen. And even if it means 75% of my cabinet are women, I'm going to take it.
Now, how are you sensitizing women across Nigeria with this? Does your party, have the capacity or financial muscle to be able to, galvanize, all these women groups across Nigeria?
First of all, you should know that women are not like men. If we believe in a cause, we will come out for it. We don't feel like we have to be paid to do the job. And women, we have more assets than the men when it comes to election. Because as a woman now, I can come to your house, meet your wife, sit with her, eat with her, and discuss with her. You won't feel anything. But if your man come to your house now, you will be looking for a stick to chase him out. Do you understand? Yeah, so we are going to use our number to go house to house, street to street, market to market, to mobilize the women for Adebayo. That is the Social Democratic Party. And we have already put up a strategy which I cannot mention here because there are so many copycats. If I mention it now, before I can know, people will begin to say, this is a good strategy. But we are training our women across the state, from the polling unit up to the national level, to know how they can mobilize the women for SDP.
All right. Thank you very much, Haji Sadatu. I want to come back to Muhammad Biu. A presidential election is the ultimate prize in the course of the election cycle. There are, of course, a number of other elections at state level and then the National Assembly and governorship. But tell us, what is the current standing of the SDP? What's your positioning in the SDP in terms of positions or offices being occupied by your members?
Right now, we have a presidential candidates. In all the states, we have gubernatorial candidates who are contesting. We have senators who are contesting. We have House of Reps. We have also state assembly candidates for all these elections. And surprisingly, we also have sitting senators right now and House of Reps and even state assemblies.
Numbers.
That are members.
What are the numbers? What are the numbers? How many senators? How many House of Reps?
Right now, I don't want to start mentioning numbers, but I can tell you, at least the ones I know, we have up to maybe 10 House of Reps members. We have senators. I don't want to quote figures because I'm not, but what I can tell you, we have them. We have been meeting with them. They come to our offices. They have defected. They have left their parties, the SDP. We also have former senators, former House of Reps, who are also contesting on our platform. So, honestly speaking, in all the states, even Rivers, where we have all sorts of things, you know very well what is happening in Rivers State. We have our gubernatorial candidate, very powerful, former Senator Magnus Abe. And I'm very sure you must have seen it on TV, how he mobilized people for his 1 million march. And it was fantastic. You also go to states like Adamawa, like Delta, like Taraba, like Katsina, and so many states. These ones I'm mentioning are the ones I even went there to participate in their congresses and so on. So we are on the ground as far as we are concerned, and our target is women and the youth, because our presidential candidates and some of our gubernatorial candidates are youth within the bracket of 40 to 50. So that is one of their own. That is what we are selling to them. It is now your time, because this is the time of ICT. It's not an analog time when you have people of 70, 80 who do not even understand what is going on. So this is what we are selling to the youth. Get one of your own to be there so that you can have good policies, good programs that will empower you, that will make you relevant. Because some of us that have gone beyond 60, 70, what we should be doing is how we can provide good governance for our children and grandchildren, not for us, because we have already had our own share. And I believe with this kind of approach, like what Hajia said, door-to-door campaign, this is what we are doing. Our presidential candidate and even gubernatorial candidates have been speaking to people from door to door to door. I was with him in Adamawa. We went to some even villages. I don't know, Kinsley, if you can remember, the woman that was killed in Anambra, who comes from Adamawa, a pregnant woman,
yes.
killed.
Unfortunately, yes.
Because of the compassion, the concern of Prince Adewale, he said we should visit that village. We should trace the woman, their family. And we traced their family up to Jeddah. And that's the hometown of one of the presidential candidates. We went there, we condoled them. So you can see the personal touch our presidential candidate and our gubernatorial candidates are doing in their states. I remember when we were in Delta, all of you were in Delta, we went to so many places, remote places, where we felt, why? But we were taken there to see the situation in which the people live, what really are their problems, so that we'll appreciate. It's not in the cities renting crowd and shouting and all that sort. Yes, we are in the season of it, but the most important thing is how to get across to the people. And we in SDP, what we are doing is not crowd renting, but interactions with our stakeholders, professional bodies, unions, etc., like Hajia mentioned, and we are getting results from that.
Okay. Thank you. Rufus Ayenebo, you are the National Publicity Secretary of the SDP. I know when we talk about electioneering and campaigns, we talk about funding of such campaigns. And of course, it's not any thing to do that. And it takes a lot of resources to organize, campaign rallies and what have you. Because door to door is effective, but then people also would like to hear from you directly at rallies. I need to understand your manifesto, and of course to also market whoever is running for SDP in that locality. So how are you doing? What are you doing about funding? Does SDP have the financial muscle like the other bigger parties, in this context?
Thank you so much. The 2023 election is not going to be decided by the size of your boulevard, the size of the quantum of fund you have been able to amass over time. It's a function of the quality and the quantity of the people's buy-in into the vision you espouse, into the credibility you bring to the table, of your personality, of your capacity, of your antecedent pedigree and all of that, what people can relate with. But even coming to funding, the truth of the matter is that the political space, as we have it in Nigeria today, because you are dealing with people who are whose minds have been greatly sensitized, and they've been able to their orientation and focus shifted away from take this, cook a pot of soup, vote for us and move on. They are connecting with the reality of that their destiny has to be taken into their hand, and the young people. This election will be largely decided by the young people and the women, as our woman speaker has said, likely. And so these are not people who
women don't matter.
We matter. We matter, and that is why we are here talking, engaging, and interrogating, connecting with the issues. SDP is not a party of money bags, but a party of great ideas, great will, great conviction.
You have to fund your rallies, we have to fund your movements, you have to...
Karen, we don't forget, SDP conducted one of the best national convention that produced our presidential candidate. And the media, they're all there, and it was celebrated all over.
There was no rancor, no dissenting voice, nobody in the court.
And the quality, what went into it, tells you that yes, SDP is not a beggar party. We have the capacity to deliver and do a credible election, and that will give us the mandate of the people.
So on the campaign trail so far, what has been the experience? Muhammad Bio narrated a very touching story a moment ago about the visit of the presidential candidates to Jeddah, the home of a lady who unfortunately was murdered, and the reception that the candidate got. But of course, I believe that the candidate has been elsewhere, and you are also exposing your campaigns elsewhere. What has been the experience? Haji Asadatu.
Thank you very much. Let me throw more light to the questions that was directed to the publicity secretary about campaign rally. We all know that this campaign time is the most stretched. There's no campaign in Nigeria that lasted as long as this 2023 election. So we devised a kind of strategy. We don't want to be just a first comers into organizing rallies. We want to reach out to the people to know us face to face first before we embark on rally. It's not like we're not going to do the rally, the Mammoth rally, very soon. In the next maybe 10 days to 2 weeks time, you will see us out. We are coming out in full force to start our rally. We know that people want to see the size of your crowd, who are there and so on. And we've been seeing on the TV when people will go for campaign rallies and they will end up being thrown. The people use stones to throw them. We don't want to have that. The reason why the crowd are doing that, because they are not well engaged. So that is why we're taking our time to engage them. When we engage them, we come to them telling them about our manifesto, what the presidential candidate is going to offer. Now, they will know us in out before we come out to the street and organize rallies. And very soon, you are going to be part of it. We are going to have rally. Yes.
Okay.
But I said, what has been your experience? Rallies are mega events.
Yes.
So what has been your experience with other forms of campaign?
That's I'm coming to it. He just this thing. What we are doing now, we are doing town hall meetings, mobilizing the artisans, the market women, the road transport union, the professionals. From the last 3 weeks, there's no single day that we do not have event. Focus group. In rally, it may be too rowdy for them to even pay time to listen, and the time may be too short for you to begin to say all that you want to offer within 1 hour or even 30 minutes. But focus group that we are having now, town hall meetings, just yesterday and day before yesterday, he is in Lagos as we are talking now. He had the small and medium enterprise that is in here. So every now and then, he is interfacing with focus group, telling them what he has to offer, and it is yielding results. People are appreciating us. In fact, he attended a program somewhere. As soon after the program, people just came around me. Sir, why did you people hide this man? Where has he been? Well, we don't know him before. Well, we said that's why we are now selling him, going to your doorsteps to talk to you, for you to know him and to believe in, and anything that he says. If he attends one event whatever he says there, if you go to the other event, it's the same thing that he is going to say. I've watched Arise TV organizing the town hall series, you know, and there was a fact checker at that place. Nobody have queried whatever Adebayo have said, because he said it. He makes sure he makes his research. If you interact with him, he is such a person that he will tell you your village, he will tell you the problem in your village, and he will tell you how he intends to take care of that problem in your village. And that's the kind of person we're looking for.
Okay, well, thank you. You know, it's good. You know, you're opening up. You know, for Nigerians to understand SDP of today and what your ideology is all about. That's one question I'd like to throw open here, and that has to do with the implementation of your manifesto. Because one of the presidential candidates did allude to the fact that everybody says the same thing. I will provide power, water, women and youth. You know, that will be very rhyme. Or now the new one is oil theft. You know, will be stopped. So it's been said in the past that they are going to ensure that all the refineries in Nigeria becomes functional 6 months after taking office, and what have you. And we are still here now. How would SDP be able to structure governance to ensure that they can achieve all they have listed in their manifesto, considering the fact that your presidential candidate, I've not really known much of him, but I'm sure he's not been in government, you know, at the national level, as to gather experience with which to handle the very complex and sophisticated Nigeria, you know, if you ask me. Bill, we're coming here, please.
Well, that may be the general perception, but anybody who in his prime time can initiate projects, can be an entrepreneur, can manage people and resources, believe it or not, if he finds himself in a bigger place, he will do the same. Being in government, yes, is an experience, but then what results have we seen for those who were in government before? So in our own case, we looked at his kind of character, and most importantly, one has to have the faith in this country. You must provide leadership, no matter even at the lowest level. If you do that very well, then you can do so at the upper level. We are confident that Prince Adewale, in the 20 or 25 years after graduation, he's just 50 years this year. He has been an entrepreneur. He's into farming, cocoa. He's into communication. He has a television station. He's a lawyer of repute, both here in Nigeria and outside. He's into energy, renewable energy, and so many other enterprises. And in all this, at this micro level, he has succeeded in doing well. So that is enough experience for him to even be at the top level. But most importantly, sir, you have to know that we are talking about Nigeria of today, not Nigeria 40, 50 years back. Nigeria of today is not the same. Most of our children are young people who are very innovative, and they want a leader who can inspire them, a leader who has a good vision, a leader that will provide a roadmap to prosperity. And that is what we find in Prince Adebayo. And most importantly, our party being a kind of welfare kind of approach, our emphasis is on truth and justice, respect for human dignity, and showing equity and justice in all our dealings. And we believe with that. This is what Nigeria needs at this material time to prosper.
So let's get into more specifics.
Yeah.
I want to assume that I read you correctly. The SDP presidential campaign is promising to deliver 1 million houses every year if it wins next year's election.
In each state.
It is not impossible.
How do you intend to? We'll come to you. How do you intend to achieve that, anybody?
The problem with us is not about money in Nigeria. It's not about the capacity to fund projects. It's the capacity to drive transformative ideas. Today, all over the world, what people do is get the private sector energized, synergize with them, provide the essential ambience, the congenial environment for them to operate, do business, thrive, make profit, provide security, and the enabling legal framework for all of this. That is what SDP will put on the table for Nigerians to access prosperity. That is how we will drive the 1 million housing this thing we're talking about. We're going to get, the moment the landscape is very attractive, insecurity is banished, and the ease of doing business and all of that, provide the enabling legal framework, people will come here. They are not going to have if they have issues with the law, they're not going to be in court for decades to get it. When you get all these systems and these structures in place, all transformative ideas will thrive. You get private sector that will come in and even put to the table. The moment you make your country investors friendly, it becomes a hub, it becomes a preferred destination. Not a situation where people are moving their investments from here into other neighboring African countries. You see that everything you're talking about, it is not Nigerian government that is funding telecommunication that you enjoy. The larger bulk of it. Where's NITEL? Where are the government, wherever? But you have MTN, you have Globacom, you have all of those things thriving and turning our economy around. So the Adebayo-led government is going to provide that congenial environment for businesses to thrive, for private entrepreneurs and investors to come and partner with government to deliver on all our policies. So the housing project that we promised is essentially going to be driven by the public sector and with partnership with government, providing the regulations and directions and all of that.
Just maybe make it correct. You said we will be driven by the public sector.
By the private sector.
That's what you mean.
What we are saying is this.
What you said was that the housing promise will be delivered by the public sector. Is that what you intend to say?
What we are saying is this. Government is going to partner with the private sector to deliver on our promise in every sector. No government can deliver 100% on any of the sectors.
Aja Salato, you said that it is possible to do this. Now, let's just be a little bit more specific so that we know what we are dealing with. The last, Kirian, if you recall, the last mass housing promised was during the Second Republic by the NPN. Mm-hmm. And they went about in a number of states, but they also had issues with some states. The UPN states, they said they won't give them land to build houses. So,
and the NPP
NPP. So what kind of houses are we looking at? And where will the building materials come from? At what cost? And for whom? We have seen, in leading global markets, what the Chinese have done, for instance, with regard to mass housing. You see that, just see the structures going up. But you also have to have the infrastructural support base to be able to maintain those high-rise structures. But when you say 1 million, is that an exaggeration or what?
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. As I said, it's possible. We have 36 states in Nigeria plus Abuja. And generally, if you look at it, majority of Nigerians are homeless. Majority. Few have their own houses. Most of the houses we see around are owned by those who have amassed wealth and launder the money in housing estates, and they are empty. When some Nigerians are roaming about being homeless, living in a shelter, IDPs, and so on and so forth. Our own SDP presidential candidate intends to do something different, and he intends to ensure that there is no Nigerian who will live without having his own roof over his head. And to divide 1 million into 37 is not much. Just as my colleague have said, the government will partner with private sectors all over the world. If you go, you travel, government is not the one that is putting up houses alone. They partner with investors, and we have a lot of investors coming around. Talking about infrastructure, there are so many smart houses even here in Abuja. If you go, those putting up these estates, they ensure that they tar road, they provide water, they provide electricity, and so on and so forth. And the government of Nigeria, if SDP wins election, is going to ensure we use other source of energy, also other source of generating power, other source of providing water, potable drinking water, because there are so many technologies that are going to be used to put together to bring up these 1 million houses across Nigeria. Prince Adewale Adebayo, just as the spokesman have said, he is already a digital man. He is into renewable energy. He is so into so many things. I'm sure he's going to put up this together to provide this. I just want to say something that I saw. We were in Oyo State recently for flagging of a campaign of one of our candidates. And believe me, I was surprised as a party leader. We were there. Some group of people gathered themselves and they insisted they want to see him. And I was thinking that is that those kind of people after medicine they will come. No, they were there to thank him. He don't know them. They were there to thank him. They thanked him for sinking a giant borehole in their community. And these people are Hausa community in Oyo State. They are Muslims. He is a Christian. And he gave money for building of their mosques. And he didn't do it this time around. He did it before he even became a candidate of the party. And I was just looking. When they approached the man introduced himself, I'm so person and so on. And you remember that was so person that you said. And he was saying, okay, no problem. Whatever we promise to do, we're going to do more. You know, I believe him, whatever he said. I believe if Nigerians give him chance to win election and become the president of Nigeria, things will change.
All right. You know, my colleague was actually concerned about implementation. You know,
Yes.
the possibility of ensuring that the party delivers if eventually you get to power. A number of things have been promised in the past, and from experience, you know, that's what we're trying to share. In terms of housing, you talked about many private sector stakeholders are into it, and that made the housing so exorbitant that an ordinary man, you know, an average Nigerian, worker cannot even have a one-bedroom apartment, because of the cost of getting one. And I wonder what magic anybody's going to do with respect to injecting funds into the system to, perhaps reduce the cost of housing. Okay, that's by the way again. Let's look at one of the things that you also raised, that you're going to eliminate fuel subsidy. SDP says we'll eliminate fuel subsidy. And how do you intend to implement that, considering that there are intricacies, involved in doing that? Because there's going to be a backlash, so to speak. And I want to bring you in here once more. This is petroleum subsidy removal.
Yeah, if you recall, President Adebayo has said it. I was talking about 4 months ago, that we have so many leakages in the petroleum sector. I think he was the one that even blew a whistle that oil theft has been going on for years. Even to the extent of saying that the oil we drill in Nigeria, 80% have been taken out. And it was after he said this thing, 2 or 3 months later, then NPC came out to say, yes, it's true. There's this issue of oil theft. There's issue of somebody, extending a kind of pipe from the NPC something to his bedroom, about 9 kilometers away. And these are the things we intend to block. Once you have a good leader, a leader that is truthful, a leader that is just, followers in Nigeria, once the leader is good, they will follow him. Nigerians are very peaceful people, very obedient, and can easily follow a good leader. But if the head is rotten, then don't expect anything at the bottom. So with that, he knows all the leakages in the oil sector, in the economy, in the bureaucracy of government, though he has not been there, but he has been working with government as a consultant for years. He has been a consultant on even energy, like the Mambela hydro something. But because he saw that the officials were not interested in really getting this thing to work, he backed out. So with him in that position, we'll expect that at least 50 to 60% of the leakages will be blocked. With that resources, then we can do a lot to improve education, health, housing, infrastructure, etc., etc. And this is what he intends to do. And if you observe, our national chairman, Alessio Gaba, and our presidential candidate, in fact, I would say there is no presidential candidate or chairman that has been in the media, visibility like them. They're always there explaining the position of SDP and what we intend to do in SDP.
And people are listening.
And yes, people are listening.
Okay, Muhammad Bill, thank you very much.
Let me just land.
Okay.
So to me, with this kind of knowledge, with this kind of determination, I believe we can succeed if given the chance. And we are confident that we will get it, because our target is not this big here, retire this, recycle this and that and that. No, our target is our children and grandchildren, who we hope they will tune in.
If SDP should form a government today,
yes,
how do you intend to source the personnel that will form
we have them. We have them all over. We have our members who are professionals in different fields. We have our members, engineers, lawyers, doctors, etc., who are in different endeavors. And definitely, they will fill in this vacancy. There is civil service, we know. But even the civil service, if the leader is good, they will also be good.
All right, Muhammad Bill and Hajia Sadatu and Rufus Ayenuba, thank you very much. All right, you're still watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Let me return to the SDP National Publicity Secretary, Rufus Ayenuba. In a ranking order, what would be the priority of an SDP government if your candidate wins the presidential election?
The first thing to do that we will do is to provide. Essentially, we are driving social justice. If you put the leadership that is just and you start by putting your first foot of equity, people, you build their confidence. Even from your appointment from day one, you come out and make it to have a national outlook. Not a situation where you are having all your service chiefs and the key users from one particular zone. You right from day one, you are getting the people's buy-in, you are building their confidence in the government. And two, you know that the most important thing to do today, that is the challenge of the country, is the security, the insecurity. Work around it, bringing all hands on deck, getting where you need to do some reforms in terms of the security architecture, bringing what people have been talking about, they were running away from, community policing and all of these things. Find a way, if it is the name, if it is the nomenclature that is a problem, find what people can identify and be comfortable with. How do you get all Nigerians, all communities, all stakeholders to be part of this, to know that, oh, we own security is the responsibility of everyone. And the moment you begin to work on that and tackle that, and then prioritize anti-corruption war in practical terms, not the situation where you are saying something, the president is saying something, your lieutenants, people working under you and facing another direction, your accountant general is being declared by even the government where he served that stealing over 1 billion and all. The moment corruption is allegedly, that's what I'm saying. But it came from even within their system, not from outside, from the agency of government.
Yeah, of course.
So,
but it remains an allegation.
Yes,
I don't know whether that's correct. I just read that the pineapple picture of 775 billion worth of property by the same AGF you mentioned.
so it's no longer allegation.
No.
Okay.
No,
let's leave it at that. Allegation.
No, my colleague has raised something that relates to Otunla, who was the predecessor to the one who's now been alleged to have misappropriated
his own portion.
But that amount was about 775 million naira, along with some other properties. Otunla, final forfeiture, along with Colonel Bello Fadile, who was an assistant to Colonel Sambo Dasuki, who was NSA under Goodluck Jonathan. That's a different one. This one is an allegation. Still, on this one is a court decision. This one is an allegation. The matter is still in court.
So three things SDP will do: work around the issue of insecurity, put in practical terms, systems and mechanisms to banish corruption in all sectors of our national life. And then, what do you do to put food on the table of the people is key. Poverty is ravaging the whole, the larger percentage of Nigerians are living below poverty level. What in practical terms do you do to give them, make life more meaningful for them? Those are the priority things that we will do, and then move on.
Well, I'm just concerned about time. Otherwise we would have asked you to tell us, give us the specific program and schemes you are going to put in place, because we've had in fact several of them in the past, poverty eradication schemes and what have you. But time may not want us to go into details. Let's face this fact. Are you people assuring us that there is no internal ranklings in SDP at different levels, just like it happened in other parties? Are you saying that you're 100% out of it? If there are still challenges in terms of who gets what, when, and how within the party. It means that we have some internal, challenge there. Do you have some? And if you do, how do you intend to reconcile all the, stakeholders before the election?
Well, as far as I know, and as far as I'm concerned, I think from the World Congresses we started up to our convention, we didn't have any rancor. Everything went on peacefully. Because even if you look during the convention, we had candidates. There was even a female candidate who contested for the presidency, Khadija Okunu. And to us, that is a plus to SDP, because there is no party in Nigeria since we started from 1999. The only one we had was when Sarah Jibril contested and got 1 vote. Apart from that, in most cases, women do withdraw when we come to convention. But this lady was with us throughout, up to the end of the convention. And she scored, I think, about, 90-something votes or something of that nature. We have never heard of any woman who contested at that level in Nigeria to have that kind.
All right, now let's.
So what I'm trying to say.
Sorry, because the program will soon end.
Yes.
So let's translate. Hang on a second, Mohammed Bill.
Yes.
Let's translate this into issues around your presidential campaign. You already have a candidate.
Yeah.
You've talked about that candidate. You talked about activities the candidate has been engaging in, some of the promises and issues.
Yeah.
I want to bring this in because it's a matter that we have also touched on Good Morning Nigeria.
Yes.
There have been reports of violence in the course of the campaigns. We've also had a conversation around the destruction of campaign materials, posters, billboards, and the imposition of exorbitant levies and fees by some state governments for you to expose the campaign materials of your candidates. What has been the experience of the SDP in this regard? And if you've suffered it, what recourse have you had?
Well, I think the only states we had that experience is Rivers. Otherwise, other states we don't have. But in Rivers, we have even complained to the Inspector General of Police because our supporters are being harassed by agents of government, or alleged to be agents of government. Let me be on the safe side. But it's really getting out of hand. And in the process, it will even affect the process of this election in 2023. Like you rightly said, in some parties, you saw what happened in Maiduguri with the PDP. You saw what happened in Kaduna. You saw what happened in Jos. So these are signals that do not portend well for us in this transition period. So that, in our own case, the SDP, that's the only place I can say we have had. Otherwise, we were in Adamawa, though we had challenges there, because our gubernatorial candidate told us that the vehicles he paid to convey his supporters to the rally, venue of the rally, because some of the vehicles belong to unions and government. Somehow they were stopped. Up to 11 o'clock we were there. Some of our supporters from the other local government could not come to the venue. So these are some of the challenges which we think is not proper for our journey to 2023. And we should remember, all these presidential candidates, they are gentlemen and women who sign a peace accord that they will talk to their supporters, to their followers, to conduct themselves in a peaceful manner. But we have seen cases whereby people who claim to be leaders, governors, senators, etc., instigating their supporters to attack their opponents. And this is not good, because what you do to other people today, tomorrow it will be done to you.
Okay, I just said that to Abdullahi. I mean, when there is a challenge of the nature that Mohammed B explained, of course, women have got the soft target. You know, I'm wondering how you are going to ensure that your fellow women who will be campaigning for SDP are protected. Now, I want to raise this question, and that has to do with the issue of children that are out of school in Nigeria, and we know that it's more prevalent in the northern part of the country. What does SDP intend to do that? Because that also affects women directly.
Yeah. First of all, coming to protection of women during rallies, in Nigeria, we know that the opposition parties, rivalry, and whatever do happens, we will just appeal to the conscience of our youths, because they are the ones that are being used to cause this mayhem during campaigns, that they should not allow themselves to be used, because it will come back to them. For whatever reason, they should not go out to receive some small amount of money just to come and inflict injuries onto other people that are there during the rallies. And with the peace accord, though it has been on and it does not stop anything from happening, but we just want to appeal on the conscience of everybody that please this time around it should be hit free, because votes will count this time around, and it's not by disrupting people, beating them, distorting their campaigns or billboards and whatever that will make you win election. You know, is to whatever you come out to mobilize people and offer that will make them believe in you and vote for you. And the security agents are all out. They have seen what has happened in the past. I believe that they will come to the rescue of the innocent people, to ensure that people are well protected during campaigns rallies. We hope that we'll be able to achieve. We'll come to the out-of-school children. You are right. Most of the out-of-school children are more in the north, but it is all over Nigeria. In the north, we can see them roaming about the street and so on and so forth. The SDP-led government, if we win election, we will ensure this will not happen. And it is very easy to achieve that, because no parent will want to see their children roaming around the street. No parent will want to see that their children are not productive. So what will stop children from being on the street? Giving them the education. They don't need to go very far away from the parents to acquire education, whether if it is the Western education or the religious education. We intend to segment these learning centers close to the family, you know, where every child can come and acquire knowledge as well as do other things the parents will want them to do.
I will do free education?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, there is going to be free education from the primary school up to the secondary school level. And even the tertiary level is going to be subsidized in such a way that every parent will afford to allow their children to go to tertiary to acquire education.
I'm just wondering, while you're on this tertiary aspect, the country is currently facing a crisis in the funding of public universities, state and federal. A number of the states have the challenge, but mostly it's pronounced in federal universities, which is why you had the latest strike by ASU that lasted for 8 months.
Yeah.
What is the SDP intention in dealing with the funding crisis in the federal public universities, for instance?
Okay, first of all, let me tell you why this thing is happening. I think our leaders that have been in government are not sincere. Because if you look at it, it's either they have the private school that is very expensive, out of the reach of the masses, or they take their children out of this country to go and school abroad. So that is why it pays them to continue to have strike in Nigeria. It pays them to see the...
So what is your response?
Our response is this: we will ensure this will not happen. As soon as we come into power, the SDP-led government will ensure that ASU will no longer go on strike.
How?
Because they are going to, whatever is due to them is going to be paid to them, and they are going to be motivated because they themselves need education. They themselves need education. They need to be updated onto current realities in the world, around the world. So if they are updated, they will see no reason why they should be going on strike. You know, and then whatever is due to them is going to be paid to them. It's going to be given to them. They will be motivated. It's no longer going to be like teachers suffering. They say their reward is in heaven. No, they are going to get their reward while on earth here. While here, so they will be motivated not to go on strike. They will be motivated to give the.
Just as one politician said it in the past, you know, that a professor, a university professor, earns about 400,000 naira.
Yeah.
But a senator who could take home up to 12 million or what have you. How do you intend to balance that?
Yes, because you see, in Nigeria, if you look at it, let me say this: people want to go on holiday more than to go to work. Why? Because they are being paid their salary, even if they are on holidays. While other around the world, you are paid as you come to work. You have to log in and you log out. It will be counted and your salary will be given to you. If you miss 1 hour, you will see that 1 hour reduced out of your salary. So, but here in Nigeria, we were waiting for government to give us 6 days holiday in a row, and then after the holidays we will not even come back until the next week, and our salary will be paid. What do I mean by that? We are going to checkmate this kind of system. It is not going to happen. You come to work, you receive your salary. You didn't come to work, you are not going to receive salary. So people will be motivated to report to work and earn their salary. So with that, all these leakages will be streamlined, and people are going to work to justify whatever they earn from the government.
Okay, I think. Okay, well, gentlemen and lady, it's been wonderful talking to you this morning. I'm happy that we all live in the same society. We understand the system, and you are saying we are going to change it. We appreciate your concern and we wish you well. First of all, let's appreciate Muhammad Ibrahim Biu, Chief Spokesperson at the Bayer Presidential Campaign Organization. Thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Ajia Sadatu Ablahi, SDP National Women Speaker. It's been wonderful sharing your thoughts with you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Also, Ambassador Rufus Ayeniba, SDP National Publicity Secretary.